We always talk about it a pay cut. A pay cut is just a restructure of a contract that screws yourself over in the future. Can we stop using the term pay cut? Because 9 times out of 10, it is not a pay cut. 9 times out of 10, it is not a pay cut. People talked about Adam Thielen taking a pay cut. Adam Thielen never took a pay cut. He was taking a restructured contract, which means he might not make as much money this season, but it doesn't matter to him because he has guaranteed money the season after. I mean, it's not a pay cut at the end of the day because you're still paying the player money. They might take a little restructure. I've talked about restructures a lot, and restructures have worked for teams. They have. Look at the Rams right now. They just restructured a bunch of contracts, completely screwed themselves over in the future. Why? Because they're a win now team. I mean, they're a Super Bowl or bust team right now, and that's the definition of a Super Bowl or bust team. And you look at the Vikings, it's just we're not in the same situation as the Rams. We just completely are not in the same situation as the Rams. We might have a lot of talent, but we are not the Rams. I believe that's almost obvious right now. We still don't even know if our coach is going to be a realistic Super Bowl contending coach. We really have no clue. LGKDOC says just pushing a problem back for it to burn you later. Allah Saints. 100%. Thank you. Thank you. Because this is something nobody talks about. Look at the numbers. See, me, I like numbers. I'm a business guy. I like looking at the numbers and looking at what's best for your team, which is why I'm so happy we brought in Quasi because he understands the value of money. He understands the value of money, him being a Wall Street trader. Look at the situation. Pay cuts are not usually pay cuts. Restructures barely are worth it. You look at a restructured contract. Let me really tell you guys, for those of you who don't understand what a restructuring contract means, when you're restructuring a contract, you're saying their contract is already bad and you're just going to make it worse. You're saying their contract is, $45 million for Kirk Cousins next year. That doesn't look good. Oh, I have an idea. Let's actually put him on a 2-year contract instead, where he's just making $15 million this year, and the next year let's $60 million. Like, they just completely screw themselves over the next year. That is what restructuring a contract is. They shouldn't even call it restructuring a contract at this point. What they should call it is kicking the can down the middle, or kicking the can down a couple years to screw yourself over in the future. That is what a restructured contract does. And yes, I understand. There's been many situations where it has worked for teams. There's been many situations where it makes sense. The Rams right now in the Super Bowl, perfect example of when a restructuring contracts make sense. But you look at it for the Vikings, it does not make sense for us. Now, here's the thing. If the Vikings are going to stick with Kirk Cousins, which I've said many times, I do want them to trade him. If they can get the right trade, I want them to trade him. If they keep Kirk Cousins for 1 more year, 2 more years, or 1 more year and then trade him after this year, still, I'm fine with that. I'm okay with that. If we do bring Kirk Cousins on another contract and they put him on a 2-year contract, can we please not screw ourselves over in 2023? Can we please just accept the fact that he's worth a ridiculous amount of money and decide to pay half of that contract this upcoming season? If you put him on a 2-year contract, and let's say, what's a realistic situation? Let's say he's put on a 2-year contract and Kirk Cousins, we know Kirk Cousins to the point where he's only going to sign a contract if it's all guaranteed money. Because that's the kind of guy Kirk Cousins is. He's not going to take the contracts that say contract bonuses, or the contracts that have the what's it called, the whatever the other word is. It's slipping my mind right now, but like the bonuses and the signing bonuses and that kind of stuff. He doesn't care about all that. What he wants is all guaranteed salary. That's all Kirk Cousins cares about. Restructuring contracts 9 times out of 10 is stupid. And I will say that time and time again. Restructuring contracts is not a smart decision for a majority of the time. It's just not smart. And it would not be smart for the Vikings to restructure Kirk and somehow go on Twitter and call it, the Vikings, Kirk Cousins took a pay cut to stay with the team. Can we stop saying pay cut? It makes me mad because you got to look at the numbers. Vikings, don't get distracted. Don't get distracted here and think that pay cuts are smart, because it might sound like a good thing. It might sound smart hearing, pay cut. He's taking a pay cut. This is a great thing, right? It might sound smart, but you got to look at the fine print. You got to look at the details. Pay cuts are usually not that great. And let's be honest, for the Vikings, when was the last time the Vikings player took a pay cut and it actually worked for our team? And now you look at the contracts and we are screwing ourselves over, Vikings fans. We are absolutely screwing ourselves over with the continuing restructuring contracts, the continue of pay cuts. Now I'm going to quote this because pay cut is the most ludicrous, the stupidest little line people continue to use, because it's almost never a pay cut. It's kicking the can down a couple of years and screwing yourselves over is what a pay cut is. LGKDOC says restructures work when a team is 1-2 pieces away, not when they're missing an entire secondary. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for not being brainwashed football fans who understand what a restructuring contract is and what pay cuts are, because it does work sometimes. It does work. But has it ever worked with the Vikings? Ever in history? We are an entire secondary away from competing.